And on Yemen, our colleagues in the Office for Human Rights say they are deeply concerned about the worsening humanitarian and human rights situation in Yemen, where civilians continue to bear the brunt of the conflict. The office now says that a total number of civilians reportedly killed and injured since 27th of March is 1,528 and 3,605 injured. Over the past few weeks, the Human Rights Office team on the ground has been able to document human rights violations and abuses and violations of international humanitarian law by all parties to the conflict. These include violations of the right to life, abduction, ill treatment, restrictions on freedom of expression and peaceful assembly, attacks against humanitarian workers, medical staff and facilities, as well as journalists and media organizations. Dozens of civilians have been abducted and subjected to arbitrary detention in Sana'a. The Office for Human Rights Office has also received worrying reports that local popular resistance committees affiliated with exiled President Abdelrabo Mansour Hadi have summarily executed at least 6 people perceived to be loyal to the Houthi Saleh coalition and have committed acts of ill treatment. The High Commissioner's Office once more urges all sides to the conflict to ensure that international human rights law and international humanitarian law are respected, and to ensure that all feasible measures are taken to ensure civilians are protected. And 1 year after these are.
Thank you, Stefan. Regarding Yemen, is there any progress on raising funds for humanitarian aid? Since, I mean,
well, we are continuing to appeal, obviously, for funds via humanitarian appeal. We also continue to be in discussions with the Saudi government and various UN agencies with the Saudi government to release the funds that had been pledged.
Why is it taking so long for them to release their funds?
Well, obviously, we would hope that these funds are released quickly, but we're going through the process. Nizar, I'll come back to you.
Announced in the coming days. Nothing has been announced, obviously. Was Secretary General also notified of this agreement, of this ceasefire?
We've been aware of all the discussions, obviously, that have been going on, including reports that we had been close to a humanitarian pause. Obviously, that has not come to fruition, which is extremely unfortunate.
Did you get a promise from the Foreign Minister of Saudi Arabia? Did the Secretary General himself get a promise for ceasefire on Friday?
I understand. As I've said, we were aware of discussions surrounding a possible humanitarian pause. We had been hopeful, but this, obviously, as we've seen over the last 24 hours, failed to come to fruition.
What did Mr. Adel Jubair tell Mr. Secretary General about that?
That's what I have to say to you on that.
There were accusations in Yemen today that Sheikh Ahmed is simply carrying messages from Riyadh. He's like a messenger, and he's not coming forward with any new ideas, and his mission is stagnating. Is there any update on if he's?
No, I think I would disagree with that assessment. I think the special envoy and his team are working tirelessly to try to bring the parties together to agree on a humanitarian pause, to agree on a political track. But we're continuing to make as much effort as we can on this, but it is also up to the parties to step up and make the efforts necessary to stop the violence and to halt the violence that we see every day.
When you talk about the violence, I mean the violence from both sides or from one side, because there is no war in Yemen. There is aerial attacks, aerial bombardment all the time from one side. The Yemenis, the retaliation from the Yemeni side is not substantial.
The violence is continuing. You're right, a lot from aerial bombardments, but also from other sources. Regardless of the source, we need the violence to stop.
On the humanitarian side, there are hundreds of thousands of people stranded at the Saudi border checkpoints. Is there anything done for these people to let them through? Because most of them are civilians, most of them are children, women, and elderly.
Let me check on those reports. Mr. Lee.
Sure.